Welcome back to Prophecy Unfolding, where prophecy is truly unfolding. You know, if you're like me and you've studied prophecy, and we go through Daniel and some of the things Jesus said, and even when we go to the book of Revelation, the one that stands out most to many people is Revelation 13. But in the UK, an announcement that came out by Keir Starmer, who's the Prime Minister in the UK, is absolutely eye-opening to those that look to prophecy, because for many years people were saying this is all conspiracy, we're being carried away, sensationalism or fear tactics, when really as watchmen and watchwomen we're only looking out for these things and showing you how this is progressing. Really what I'm going to do today is to tie in how this announcement is one step closer to what Revelation 13 talks about. Watching in full, because you need to get the full context of this before you kind of criticize or come at me, and see it for yourself, the words coming out of the horse's mouth. But remember to smash the like button to get this out to as many as possible, so that anyone that's asking questions about this may find an answer. Have a listen to the announcement first, what the Prime Minister said.
This government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Now, this to me was so eye-opening to hear from the horse's mouth what they're planning to do. Now, we've been saying this for years when we've seen all the chaos happening, especially since 2020. It was almost like it was setting itself up to bring this in. And obviously in Europe and other parts of the world, one of the big topics at the moment is the whole concept of mass migration, etc., or uncontrolled migration. What can start off as something good, generally it can turn out to be something much more wicked, or if essentially towards the end it can be. And I believe that what's happening now, what this is going to essentially bring, if this fully comes in, is what Revelation 13 talks about. And here's exactly what it says.
The UK Prime Minister's latest announcement that digital ID cards will become mandatory for proving the right to work has reignited fierce debate, not just about privacy and state control, but about prophecy itself. On the surface, the scheme is framed as a practical tool, a free, government-issued ID meant to reduce illegal immigration, cut fraud, and streamline access to public services. But beneath this modern policy lies an unsettling echo of Revelation 13, where no one can buy or sell without the mark of the beast. For some, the parallels are chilling. Once employment is tied to a centralized ID, it's only a step away from tying all economic activity, from banking to healthcare to daily purchases, to the same system. While officials insist you won't have to carry the card everywhere and that it won't be used at all times, critics warn that such infrastructure lays the foundation for unprecedented control over ordinary life. And history has shown how temporary measures can expand into permanent restrictions. Is this just another leap into digital convenience, or the first visible bricks of a system that could one day test human allegiance at its deepest level, between loyalty to worldly powers and loyalty to God?
Now, this isn't designed to scare people, but to prepare people. More so to show that, for the many years people would say this is conspiracy, because we were talking about it a few years back. But now we're seeing that they're going to implement it, they're going to push it through. Now, this is not the mark of the beast. The digital ID is not the actual mark of the beast, and I wouldn't say that it is, but it's an absolute foreteller of what's about to happen. I believe it's the same type of technology that's going to be used for that period of time that Revelation described about buying or selling. But more that we should be looking at is that prophecy is unfolding. And I know this is twofold to us that study prophecy and look to prophecies. Two things that we kind of do when we see these things happening or unfolding. We keep our eye on it. We're being watchful and steadfast. Try to keep ourselves in a state of prayer or readiness for the things that are unfolding and how quickly they're actually happening. And the second thing is, while we're still here, we have a job to do. We still have to get the gospel out to as many as possible. We still have to let them know that Jesus today heals, sets free, breaks down walls and chains that may be on people's lives. He still does it today. Yes, we're understanding that things are moving forward and moving quickly. We know that prophecy is truly unfolding, and it can't be coincidence that we're seeing all of these things happening at a very, very fast rate. But also, it's almost like we're seeing all the pieces of the puzzle, all the different pieces of the puzzle coming together. Is the mark of the beast being prepared at the moment? I believe so. I believe this is the technology that's going to be used. But I believe the time hasn't come yet for the exact mark of the beast, but we're actually getting a foreshadowing. And to all of those, whether you believe in rapture or not, or pre-trib or post-trib, now is the time we come together to pray that people find the gospel truth in Jesus Christ. Essentially, our job is to plant the field with seed and let the Holy Spirit do his job. The gospel sets people free today. That's the most important news. Most important thing to hear is that the gospel is still valid. It's still here today in 2025. It's a short video. Just wanted to show you kind of what looks to be lying ahead. But remember, even though we see chaos happening in the world, God's always in control, and keep the faith.